So, you're a dog owner in Yuba City, and you're looking for a professional trainer. Well, you've come to the right place. We are going to walk through everything you need to know to make a really solid choice for you and your best friend.
I mean, picture this, walking your dog nice and calmly along the Feather River Parkway, or maybe just having them chill out by your side at the farmer's market on Bridge Street. That's really the dream, isn't it? A well-trained dog gets to be a bigger part of your life, making everything from a quick stroll to running errands just easier and better. And training is what makes all that possible.
All right, first things first. Before you even start Googling trainers, it's really helpful to get a handle on the philosophy behind how they teach. It's all about finding an approach that not only works for your dog, but feels right to you too. These days, the most effective training really centers on something called positive reinforcement. So instead of focusing on what your dog is doing wrong, you're constantly rewarding them for what they do right. With a treat, some praise, their favorite toy. This whole approach builds a ton of trust and basically turns learning into a fun game, which is exactly the kind of relationship you want. Okay, so you've got your what figured out, the philosophy. Now let's talk about the how. There are a few different ways to go about training, and the right one for you is going to depend on your dog, your schedule, and your specific goals. You've really got two main paths here: group classes or private sessions. Group classes, they're amazing for socialization, getting your dog used to being around other dogs, and for practicing commands with distractions. But if you're dealing with something specific at home, like, say, barking at the delivery guy or jumping all over your visitors, a private in-home session is probably what you need. So it's not that one is better than the other, they just solve different kinds of problems. And of course, it doesn't just stop there. You've also got more specialized stuff. Puppy classes are, well, they're just essential for getting a young dog started off on the right paw. Day training is a great option if your schedule's packed. Then you have board and train, which is a much more intense, immersive experience. And for the really tough challenges, like serious fear or reactivity, you'll want to look for something that's specifically called behavior modification. All right, let's get into the investment side of things. Cost is a big factor for everyone. And here in the Yuba City area, prices can really vary based on a trainer's experience and, of course, the kind of training you pick. Just to give you a ballpark figure to start with, a single 1-hour private lesson around Yuba City is typically going to land somewhere in this range. It's just a good number to have in the back of your head as you start looking at different trainers and their programs. So what does that look like when you break it down? As you'd expect, group classes are usually the most affordable way to go per session. If you're looking at private lessons, buying a package deal will almost always save you some money compared to paying one at a time. And then, on the high end, you have board and train programs. And that price tag reflects that it's a full-time intensive service. Hopefully, this gives you a clearer map of the financial side. So, you know the method you want, the format that seems best, and you've got a budget in mind. Now, how do you actually know if a trainer is a qualified pro? It really boils down to two things: checking their credentials and asking the right questions. Now, this is something a lot of people don't realize. California doesn't have a state license for dog trainers. That's why seeing certifications like these is a really big deal. It means that a trainer has gone the extra mile. They've invested in their education, passed some tough exams, and they've committed to a professional code of ethics. For instance, a CPDTKA shows they have a broad base of knowledge, whereas an IABC-DBC tells you they specialize in more complex behavior issues. Okay, think of this as your personal checklist. When you get on the phone with a potential trainer, have these questions ready. Their answers are going to tell you everything you need to know. Do they sound like they're on the same page with positive reinforcement? Are they still learning and growing as a professional? Do they have a clear, easy-to-understand plan for you? A true pro will have no problem answering all of these. Now, let's bring this all back home to your actual life here in Yuba City, because great training doesn't just happen in a 1-hour session, right? It happens out in the real world. And that means being a responsible owner, knowing the local rules, and knowing the best spots to practice. Here's the need-to-know stuff for dog owners in Yuba City, since we fall under Sutter County rules. That 6-foot leash law is the standard for almost all public spaces. And yes, licensing and rabies vaccinations are required. That's for everyone's safety. Oh, and keeping an eye on nuisance barking, that's just part of being a good neighbor. And here is where all that hard work really pays off. The dog park at Goosh Aquatic Park is your go-to spot for safe, legal, off-leash fun. For working on that perfect loose-leash walk, you can't beat the long trails at the Feather River Parkway. And the big open fields at Sam Brannan Park are great for practicing commands like stay from a distance. Because really, that's what this is all about, isn't it? Putting in the effort to find the right trainer isn't just about fixing a few problem behaviors.
It's about creating a richer, happier, and less stressful life with your dog here in Yuba City. We truly wish you the best of luck in finding the perfect training partner for your journey.